What is going on, guys? Welcome back. It is Sunday night showdown. Kansas City Chiefs and the Las Vegas Raiders. We meet again. They were matched up earlier this season. Kansas City winning 40-32. A nice shootout. I think we get a similar game script here. We have some actually really good value on this slate, which is what we really want on slates with Kansas City because we want to be able to jam in the studs. So we will go through some builds. You can easily get 3 studs, I think, in this lineup, just because of the potential value, and kickers are always good in Kansas City games as well. If you have not hit that subscribe button, hit that below. Again, it is the best thing that you can do for us. Hit the thumbs up, give us a comment. We greatly appreciate it. We love that we are getting a ton of support, and hopefully we can continue to get your support. It means a lot to us as a channel, and also gives us just more motivation to continue to put out a lot of free content for you guys. So let's get into it. We know that we like to kind of keep it nice and crisp and short. I'm going to use the 3-2-1 format. 3 of my favorite optimal plays, 2 of my favorite values, and 1 of my favorite fade. And this slate, it's actually really easy. Kansas City is a 7.5-point favorite. Obviously, that's where you want to go for most of your action here is Kansas City. So let's move over to the Draftkings lineup builder. Obviously, I don't really need to spend a whole lot of time on Mahomes. You can fade him in, I don't even know what kind of format, something that you want to be like the lowest owned, have the most unique lineup possible, but I don't think it's optimal. So go ahead and try it, but I would make sure you get him in your lineup. Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, both have been just absolute monsters, and Sammy Watkins continues to be out. I just don't see how you fade either of them here. Or, I don't know how you don't consider them at least. Now, the last time Kelce against the Raiders, 8 catches on 12 targets and a touchdown, 108 yards, 27 DK. I think Tyreek did something very similar. Let's just take a look here. I mean, regardless, Tyreek 18 targets last game, which is pretty insane too. Obviously, the game script was heavily favored in the one that they'd be throwing the ball. He had 18, 3 catches, 78 yards, and had a rushing touchdown against the Raiders the last time out. So it's no surprise. These 3 are my favorite cash plays, and I think that you can get them in. Now, do you want to consider somebody like Carr or Jacobs? That would probably be at the expense of one of these top players, or really punting at captain, which we'll talk about in a little bit. I think you can get up to Waller with a decent punt captain and still get the top 3, but Carr has been not that great. But I do know when he played Kansas City last time when they were trailing and Kansas City let them get back in the game, I think he ended up with 27 DK, and Jacobs also had, I think, 22 DK against them last time. So not that they're out of question, but I would say that you're sacrificing the upside of Kansas City to not really upgrading like the kickers to that much better in the mid-range. So unless you're really going to get 4 studs and then not punt at captain, which I don't think is really possible, I don't really see how you reach for Carr or Jacobs in cash on this slate. Now, can they be in a better lineup, cash lineup than I'll make? Certainly, but it's not somebody I'm looking to target. So let's start with KC. We go down. We talked about the top 3. Edwards-Helaire is my fade of the slate. Le'Veon Bell has not really been getting a lot of action, but enough action to take away from Helaire. Now, GPP, I think he's fine, but like 5 carries, 6 carries, 8 carries, since Bell's been there, I just don't know how you justify it. 8,200 in cash just is too much because you can't get him and the rest. So he's my fade on the slate. I'll be surprised to see if his ownership is high at all. But keep going down in Kansas City here. Sammy Watkins is out. And the main 2 beneficiaries are going to be Robinson here at 4,400, who's been a great value. has been excellent. He's had touchdowns in his last 2 games, so double digits fantasy points. You're looking at 11.4, 16.3. So I think 4,400. If you can get double digits, solid. Now let's move over. Butker is obviously always super popular in showdowns. Kansas City scores; they're in scoring position. So Butker, I mean, yeah, they go for it a lot, but Butker's a great play. Mecole Hardman here will be active. Was potentially not going to be active due to COVID, but he will play. He had 4 catches or 3 catches last game, 48 yards. Again, 3,600. He's a little cheaper than Robinson. I think presents similar upside, probably projects really closely. Let's just go that way. Guess I can't talk tonight. So my favorite value, one of Le'Veon Bell, 1,400. I think 4 carries last game, 1 catch. There's not a lot, but I think we just know that they acquired him for a reason. So I don't know why it hasn't come out yet. Why is he not getting a little bit more? But I just think that the upside of him, I mean, and I'm not thinking he's going to get double digits here. I don't think he scores a touchdown. Maybe he gets his 30, 40 yards, a couple catches, but 5 to 6 points, I'll take it at 1,400. So he is one of my favorite values. I'll get to my other favorite value here when we go down with the Raiders. So let's start with the Raiders here. Derek Carr, again, I think is in play just because of the game script. It's going to be favoring him likely if they're losing like it did last time they played, and he put up 27 DK. Jacobs obviously is always in play. The volume is there. It is kind of interesting. He had 20. I mean, they obviously they obliterated Denver, but yeah, I don't know. We just like his last 20-point game was against KC. So he hasn't been like that dominant for his price tag. But Waller is interesting because I'll go through a build here in a little bit that you can get to Waller. He's one that would like do really well in this kind of matchup again where they're losing. They have to throw the ball. You're not going to do as well against Denver when you're up 25 points. So I think the game script is going to definitely favor this for Waller, and I think at 7,000 he's too cheap. So you could also look at Nelson Aguilar, who's been hit or miss. Again, somebody I think might project better with the game script, but not somebody I would prefer over Waller. So if I can get that 800 to get up to Waller, I'd much prefer to do that over Aguilar. You have Ruggs, Renfro. I mean, all these guys, for me, GPP only. I don't know. I mean, unless, like why Ruggs over Robinson or Hardman, or Renfro. Why Renfro over Robinson or Hardman? No reason, in my opinion. Carlson, sure. I can do the kicker. They're going to be behind. They'll still kick field goals. He's accurate. Of course, after the Vikings get rid of him, he's accurate and good, but whatever. That's a sore subject. Devontae Booker, 2,200, my other favorite value of the slate. Now, don't overreact to 16 carries against Denver. That was definitely an outlier because they were up by so much. I think you just saw Jacobs had like 20 some carries, and so does Booker. Or Booker has 16, which is obviously a career high. 8 was his high before that. But I do think they use him out of the backfield in passing situations, in situations where it might be 3rd and long and they hand off a draw. Last time against Kansas City, 7 carries, 62 yards and a catch, 7.7 DK. So I think Booker and Bell present enough value to use both of them or one of them to lock in the top 3. So let me just show you a potential build that you could decide how you finish it. But say you use Butker as your captain. Okay, I think he's pretty safe to project for like 8 to 12 points. Okay, So then you go and you can lock in Mahomes, you can lock in Hill, and you can lock in Kelsey. Now, this leaves you still, if I go down to Bell, who is the cheapest guy I'm considering at this point, I don't know, Zay Jones, I guess is alive at 1,000, and Edwards. Whoops, let's look at Edwards here. Again, breathing for 1,200, nothing I really want. Okay, so let's say I put in Bell, like the cheapest guy I'm considering at this time. So if I put in Bell, I can get Waller. So I just got the top 3, Kansas City plus Butker plus one of my favorite values, and Waller, probably my favorite point per dollar Raider. Okay. If you really want to get crazy and say you just want to captain Bell, even though I don't think it's like, I don't know, Dallas kind of flipped us over, but then actually made value, but whatever. If you want Bell at captain, and you lock in the top 3 and you still want Butker, where's Butker? Okay, now you're talking getting almost up to Jacobs. You can't quite get there. So that kind of build to me is a little bit more limiting. Like even if you put Carlson here instead of Butker. Now, if you go to the other value that we considered in Booker, now you have free reign to get whoever you want, and you can actually swap Booker up to Bell and still get Derek Carr. So I think most of my builds are going to for sure have the top 3 in there plus Butker, and then deciding value and just deciding, now I'll explain this here. So let's just say you go Kelsey captain, and Tyreek Hill. Okay. Or what, people want Mahomes at captain because he's the quarterback. He's he's the best quarterback in the league. Okay. Now you can do this too, but let's see, you get Bell, you get Booker, you can still get Butker. So, or Robinson or Hardman. So I think there's just so many paths to making this work. If you want Waller, punt at captain. If you're fine with using both of the value punts, now you can get Butker, you can get Robinson or Hardman. So again, hopefully this helps you just like minimize your optimal builds and kind of know where you're going to look for. 3 favorite cash plays are the top 3 Chiefs players: Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill. My 2 favorite values are Booker and Le'Veon Bell, and my fade is Edwards Hilaire. So thanks a lot for listening. Check out all the rest of our great NFL content at our channel. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.